And we are live. It's the 8 a.m. Coffee Podcast with me, Asher, and Paul. How are you doing on this kind of lovely Monday morning?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm actually got a busy day today, but
Nice.
I think you need to reintroduce yourself because, well,
Right.
I don't know if people recognize you right now.
So I'm a brand new co-host of 8 a.m. Coffee. I guess I could go by my actual first name, which is Benjamin. So I'm your host, Benjamin. How do we feel? How do we feel about that?
No, let's not do that this morning.
I did forget that I shaved. And if you've been watching the last 30 episodes, I've had a growing beard. These have been kind of like a flip book, if you will.
Has it been 30?
We have actually done. Hold on, I'm going to check
Sorry.
because I think it's more than 30 episodes so far. We have officially done, if you count today, this is episode 30. How special.
Oh, wow.
We should have
Nice.
done something special, you know? Well, I guess this is kind of the special thing.
It's just us. That's the specialness of
That's
it.
true. That's true. It's just my naked face
Mm.
today. Um,
I know it's coffee, but I feel bad saying I am just having a large Schmucker's natural peanut butter jar of
you
water. So,
schmucker. Yeah. I'm just glad that it's not raining anymore, and it's
yeah,
supposed to
yesterday
be.
the high was what, like 54?
Yeah, and it's cold this morning. It's like frosty. It's frosty. So if you are joining us, we would love to hear from you, hear how you're doing, and what kind of coffee you are drinking, how you take your
Yeah.
coffee, and what you're going to be up to this week. So, what are you going to be up to this week?
um Neighborhoods, and then I have a few meetings and anxiously awaiting 10 a.m. to see what Knox County and Knoxville City decide to do.
Right.
I have masks
Nice.
because I have a feeling that we're going to be made to wear them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. Don't necessarily it's a bad thing.
Same.
Still in the boat of why did we have to teach people how to wash their hands? Still don't understand that.
It's worth
Um,
reiterating, I guess. You know, some
yeah,
some people forgot or they'd never
we had a
do.
we had a birthday party yesterday.
Oh,
That was
cool.
fun.
Happy birthday.
Lucas, he turned 6 on Wednesday. We just didn't do the party till yesterday. So we had cupcakes, and then everyone got him stuff.
Nice.
Shout out to my sister-in-law for getting him the coolest yet most annoying noise toy making that there is. Bought him this plane. It's really cool. Like, but you like hit a button for it to make the sounds of it flying and everything,
Uh-huh.
and then you hit another button to make the gun shoot. But
Ooh.
once the guns are done shooting, it goes right. It's still in loop with where it was to fly,
Oh, perfect.
and it makes like the deceleration noise and everything. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I know that's I, having kids has allowed me to realize that the toys when I was younger were the worst toys ever. That's really like when I was a kid, they were like, "Here's a box of sticks."
It's like
I
pick
know they're called Lincoln Logs, but whatever.
That's true. I did like Lincoln Logs, but I mean it's a fairly one-dimensional toy if you don't have something to put in your log cabin or, you know, knock it down with a dinosaur.
Yeah.
I we both know at this point probably that I love nostalgic things.
Mhm.
Speaking of toys from our childhood, what was your actual favorite?
Like probably as crazy as it sounds, my He-Man sword
Ooh,
because it was
He-Man.
plastic and two-sided.
Dog.
So I would have my dad turn off the lights and I would turn it around where it glowed in the dark and I was like, you know,
That's awesome. I didn't watch
but
He-Man until like 6 years ago, and I was like, man, I missed out on some some wild cartoons.
also one of our kids is obsessed with cats and I have her almost convinced that Thundercats is an actual species of cat.
There you go. Thundercats was awesome too. I thought you meant
We,
Cats the musical, maybe.
no, like she, this is the other 6-year-old now is like she can't wait to move out so that she can have a cat.
Oh, gotcha. It's already ready.
Now we don't have a cat. I will tell you this because there are allergies. It
Uh-huh.
has nothing to do with the pet thing.
Yeah,
Anyways, I know that went weird.
I like it.
That went down a train real quick. I was actually thinking about all the lies I tell my children.
It's a good way to go. I mean, it's necessary sometimes, right?
Yeah, one of my kids asked what a marathon because we were talking about people watching the Marvel movie
Uh
marathon,
huh.
like he was like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "That's when you watch movies while you run 26.2 miles on the treadmill, and you see how many movies you can get in."
That's perfect. Man, I don't know.
And and it was great because the whole family just kept going with it.
Oh, good, good.
Like they like joined in.
It's even better when everyone plays along, for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I did a Zoom call on Thursday and played some games with my extended family over a program called Jackbox. Have you ever done Jackbox before?
Oh, what is that?
Well, you can basically do like Pictionary type games or like apples to apples kinds of things, but it's all through a website and everyone gets the same 4-letter code, so you join the same game. So my cousin in Seattle set it all up, and a bunch of cousins in Philadelphia were playing. So it was super cool. It was cool to have a little human contact as well. We'll probably do it again this
Yeah,
week. It was fun.
that's fun.
Yeah.
So, so it is inevitable that we are going to have to discuss this today.
Yes. Let's do it. Disney World is closed.
No, they're not. I'm going to say this about Disney real quick, and I'm going to take this down a train or trail that you may not think about.
I'm up for it. Also, I'm cold
They're
on my
not
face.
going. Yeah. What I do appreciate about them is they have not made announcements until they've made decisions.
Yeah.
They're not like, hey, we're going to do this in these stages. We don't know when yet, but this is what's going on.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they're like, no, we're just not going to talk
Let's
about
just
it.
keep quiet.
Like they said, hey, we're shutting down the parks. They shut down the parks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they're like, look, in 2 days we're shutting down, and that's when they shut down. And then they're like, at the end of this week, we're not having any more resort guests, and they shut down.
Okay.
They're not going to say they're reopening until they have a day that they are reopening.
Right.
They are not going to talk about it.
Good on them,
So-
too, because that's I mean, it's an obnoxious thing that we've had to deal with here in
Yeah.
Knoxville, right?
Yeah, well, they might close till 2021. I don't know. Like, look, I've got an insider that lives with me, and she doesn't know.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't know. She's like, stop telling people. There's a financial analyst out of Chicago. Like, there's 2 people saying this is what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I'm not in the loop. I'm not on their board.
Right. Right.
Couldn't tell you what they're doing. But today at 10, they are going to announce what they're going to do in Knox County. And I don't know. I'm reading statistics like 80% of the people don't care if it opens. They're not going out.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
80% of people are like, nah, we're good. Like, I'm staying at home.
Well, and honestly, for the moment at least, like I'm in that boat because I want to see what keeps happening over a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean I'm hating on anyone who wants anything else to happen. And I am eager to have that date for sure when I can have multiple students over here and do full band lessons again, because I mean, it's not just money, like it's fun. And it's, it's human interaction, and it's teaching young minds how to play old songs,
Yeah, and for me, I'm not. I don't know where I sit on it. That's
Really?
probably one of the reasons I don't have an opinion on it.
Yeah,
because I don't
yeah.
have a place where I said, I can see both sides of this, and I can see heavily one side and then heavily the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I also don't feel like it's okay to to bash anybody
Yeah, yeah.
that decides either way which way to go. You know,
Right.
um, it's I do find it very funny that people are protesting on the Capitol Hill steps with guns and everything like that. And
Yeah.
I'll say it out loud. They're the same people that are supporting him that were totally against Colin Kaepernick and his fight against our federal government. And I'm not saying which issue is right, but you can't have it both ways.
Right.
Like you gotta say yes to both things. And that's probably where I sit the most in all of this is that like I thought that we were going to be more peaceful coming out of this.
Mhm.
And dude, everything I'm reading on social is we're just right back to
Yeah.
just slamming the other side.
Well,
I'm like,
also,
man.
I think the people doing protests and things like that, like at their core, just to offer another perspective for anyone
Oh yeah,
listening,
please,
you know,
please.
it's like they just want to be a part of something, and they want to have something to do, and they're choosing, you know, kind of annoying things and annoying ways to go about that.
Mhm.
Um, so that's just my 2 cents
Yeah,
about that.
no, I'm
They're
not.
extroverts too, you
I'm
know. I
thinking,
know you're not bashing them.
by the way, I'm not against protests.
Yeah,
Like I think
I think it's
I
got
think
to
any
happen.
form of, I think any form of peaceful protest is the way to go, and I have no issues with it. I'm just saying you you can't on one hand say no to one and yes to the other. That's really all I'm
Right,
saying.
right.
So
Yeah, for sure.
it's funny. He wears his watch everywhere. He wears like an old school watch
Like
everywhere he goes.
like an old Timex. Is it like a leather
No,
band?
it's like a no. It's made for kids,
Okay.
but it's like an old school like like what is the thing that called with the clocks? What is that called? It's not analog. Is it analog?
Yeah, I guess so. Analog as
I
opposed to
mean,
digital would be the actual numbers.
yeah. No, it's funny. He wears it everywhere.
I used to do that
Can't
as a
tell
kid
time
too.
on it, but wears it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why I liked watches so much. And then there was a certain point in my life where it was like hard pass on having anything on my wrists. Like I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the tan
oh, really?
lines. I'm sick of the feeling. Like just
Tan lines.
I don't know that was a big part of it. It was a part of it. You know, that's just what I remember. Um, yeah, and
We can.
again,
What's that?
I was just going to reiterate that we're not here to bash
No,
anybody, but
no.
we want to start the conversation and see what other people are thinking about what's going to happen here in Knox
Yeah.
County.
I think the county and the city are actually going to be on the same page, which I
Really?
really am thoroughly. Well, they said they're going to come out in a joint
Right.
press conference, which I I've been screaming from the mountaintop that Knoxville City, Knoxville County needs to be metro for years. Um, but is what it is. You know those things. I will say that Tennessee, now not necessarily Knox County, went up the most cases that it has in ever yesterday.
Just yesterday.
So they jumped, yeah, just yesterday they
man.
jumped another 452 cases to
Good Lord.
yesterday. Yeah, so it went up 5.2% or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So now, granted, they probably did more testing, all that stuff. I mean, we've only tested 2% of the population. Like,
Yeah.
you need to realize that. Like,
Insanely low. By the way,
Yeah.
Lindsay went yesterday. She went and got tested because Friday she wasn't feeling well. And neither of us have been like anywhere at all.
Mhm.
But she was like, I don't feel good. It's free. I can just drive through.
yeah,
And
might as well.
they were doing it down on campus. So we won't know for 7 days though. So.
They like stick it up our nose, right?
Oh, dude, don't get me started.
Like,
It's like one of my biggest,
so,
not fears, but like
so far up there, and then they leave it there, don't they?
she
Or
knows.
is it quick?
I don't know how quick it is. I blacked out when she was telling me about it because, dude, like she knows I hate it too, and I respect and love her so much for doing this. But she was like, "Yeah, so they just stick it way up there, basically tickles your brain." And I was like, "Stop, just stop."
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
her results are your results, right? Like that's just what you're gonna do, right?
Honestly, that's almost verbatim what I said on Saturday. I was like, I can't do it. There's no, like, I'll
You're
die.
just you're just gonna call them and be like, "Look, my wife tested positive. I'm positive too. Just add me to it.
Yeah.
My wife tested negative. I'm negative. Just add me
Can we
to
get
it."
beds right next to each other? Cancel lessons for a couple weeks. We'll be good. That and like eyedroppers. Like, I cannot drop liquid into my eyeballs. It's impossible.
I can't do contacts.
Really.
No.
I've never even tried. There's no way.
I have, and I'm putting it in myself and moving my head.
Like, there's some disconnect between mind and body for those types of things. That's so funny. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, she said they stick it way up there and it is very uncomfortable. So
I'm sure it is. I'm sure.
my diseases are her
Ugh.
diseases for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Man, what were we talking about? Just
Oh, I don't know.
opening back up in general.
Yeah. I mean, like, do we have any comments by the way? I don't know if we do or not.
No. I posted a question on there. How's your quarantine going? That was the only comment so far. But I will say, like, it's easy. It's very, very easy for me to say we can spend another couple weeks or a month doing the quarantine thing, just like we've been doing it, because I'm completely
Right.
online right now. So it's not.
Right.
I realize it's not fair for me to say that, but that's just where I'm at.
Well, no, and then I look at it from restaurant world and
Yeah.
and I'll even go from fiscal unemployment side of it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got line cooks that were averaging $400 or $500 a week that are now making unemployment and the $600 bonus for Corona. They're
Yeah.
actually making more money being off work currently.
Yeah.
But that also segues me into they're going to get used to that lifestyle. Like, be careful. There's a lot of like, and that money's going to run out. Like, there's only so far in debt we can go, right? By the way, who
Yeah.
are we indebted to? Like, I've always wondered that. Who do we owe?
Like the Federal
dude-
Reserve thing.
Yeah, like when they're like, we're $2 trillion in debt. To who?
I'm not.
Who do we owe money to?
I'm not going to go look it up right now, but about 3
No, I
weeks
don't-
ago, there was a podcast by Planet Money. It's an NPR podcast. They explained the whole thing in 20 minutes. And for at least that duration of time, I was like, okay, that completely makes sense. It's all about bonds and stuff.
Well, I was always like, all right, wait a minute. We're in debt to who? Like, you hear like the entire country, the entire world is in debt. To who? Mars? Like,
Yes, to
we
the
owe money
Space Force.
like, who we owe money to.
We're basically in debt to Elon Musk at this point. I mean,
Yeah, like I don't know. He's not the richest yet, is he?
no, I don't think so. I think Bezos
Bezos
is still
Yeah.
still the cream of the upper crust, as they say.
People buy more books than bombs.
Yeah.
All right.
It's true.
Or rockets, whatever.
It's true.
Not bombs.
The
I'm
books
sorry.
don't get there for like a week and a half right now, though.
You know what? I'll just have to wait, man.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I did notice yesterday, like, we've only been grocery shopping like once a week, like Sunday morning early. I did not wake up early yesterday, so I ended up going at like 9:30, which was really convenient because you can't get alcohol on Sundays until 10 a.m. So I was like, cool, this
Yeah.
is convenient. But everything was stocked. I mean, the entire store was completely stocked except for rubbing alcohol. It was like the one thing they didn't have. So
I have plenty.
I'll come and grab some.
Also, so you can't you can buy at 6 a.m. on any other day
Right.
except Sunday.
Right. Yeah.
What?
It's so strange. I don't know. Is this a church thing? Is this a holiness thing?
Well, it used to be never on Sundays. You used to never be able to buy alcohol on Sundays.
But was that true for beer too, or just wine?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
And then
those days.
so not to get into this thing,
Sure.
but beer is regulated by the county,
Oh, okay.
and liquor and wine is regulated by the state. Now, the county still has the override to say whether you can have it or not,
Right, right.
but it's state law versus county law.
Hmm.
Like, county determines when you can sell it.
Oh, okay.
State determines if it's even available.
Right. That makes more
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Well, it's just like the Rona, right? They've opened up the state except for 6 counties.
Mm,
And those are the counties that have their own independent health departments. That's the only reason why.
right.
Because the other counties follow the state guidelines on health department.
Yeah.
Now, conveniently, it's the 4 largest areas in the state, and conveniently the 4 highest case count.
Hmm.
So, I mean, like it's
Seems like a
I
good
don't know.
system.
Yeah, there are some counties with only several hundred people that live in it.
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean, like I don't even like they, their uncle Jeff is the mayor and has been for the last 48 years. I mean, like I don't know. It's well, I guess we'll elect a new one whenever he dies off.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's voting. Only one person votes.
There's no like professional wrestlers that are running for mayor of those counties, right?
Until he runs for governor.
Uh-oh. Whoa.
Oh,
By the way, I can't
uh-oh.
stop looking at my own face, and it's not like a narcissistic thing. It's more like I forgot that I look like that.
I actually want to know if I was like that as a kid. Okay. So
What
when
do
I
you mean?
I was trying to have a conversation with the oldest, and she kept staring at herself in the mirror. And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Look, you look the same. Like,
Right.
stop, s- talk to me." She was like, "What? I just like my hair."
I
Anyways,
liked when I had hair. I liked the look of the beard, but to be honest with you, I hate the feeling of having a beard. Like,
why?
it's not scratchy, it's not itchy, it's just like an extra thing. And
Uh-huh.
I don't know, like I get cold really, really easily, but I also love wearing shorts and like a t-shirt or a tank top or something, and the weather that goes along with that. And the weather that goes along with that is really not conducive to me having like a big old beard. So makes me extra sweaty.
I don't know. I've had to shave it off before.
Yeah.
And it freaks me out.
Yeah.
My kid wouldn't talk to me. One of my kids wouldn't talk to me. They were like, "That's not you." Like, have the dogs reacted, or do they not care?
They looked at me for a split second longer and they're like, "Okay, we're good." I think that's all it took. Also, Cody Knoll says in the chat, $10 says Asher's beard grows back by the end of this podcast. Might be true. It's already, I mean,
He did say that you could grow a beard so fast.
yeah, like the Santa Claus, Tim Allen, the Santa Claus.
I need to stretch.
Do it. Do it. It's Monday morning on 8 a.m. coffee. Why don't we give a quick plug of our businesses and we'll do a little Patreon thing. I'll go ahead and talk about Patreon. We've got
You had a plan.
Sure.
I forgot about that.
I do want to point out I texted
Just
Paul
bring that to me.
I texted Paul 2 book-long text messages, one on Saturday and one on Sunday, and the response I got was sure. I want to tell you real quick, Paul, that I have grown past this in the past few years, but one of my pet peeves about 3 or 4 years ago was asking somebody something and them saying sure, like that actual word.
I didn't know that, but I wish I did.
Right. Now you're going to do it all the time. I know. And I love it. Because it'll help me continue to grow. But part of it was that it's a more ambiguous word to me than like yes or absolutely I agree with you or, something like that. All that to say that when you texted me that, it did not upset me. I was just like, I can laugh at myself a little bit.
Normally I respond with a word.
Word. See?
Word.
And
Word.
for some reason, that's like the same thing. There's no difference, but for some reason, the word as a confirmation has more of a confirmation feel to it, to me. I don't know.
Also,
I don't know why.
you sent me paragraphs, and I sent you a one-word response because I'm clearly like, whatever.
It's total. That's
Like,
just totally our personalities when it comes to like that kind of thing.
it is my personality with everything though.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Yeah.
Like like even as bad as it sounds, clients will send me like, I need this. Okay. Like I'm like, all right. And they're like, you don't want to discuss it? And I'm like, what's there to discuss? Like you wanted it, and I said okay. Like I agree with you.
That's so funny.
Let's move on.
See, I'm trying to be better about that in different situations because I think that's healthy. And I think what I do is read into responses way too much. So someone saying sure, if I'm in a certain mental state, I'll be like, they're upset,
Well,
you know?
that so there are a lot of times when I need to send a lengthy text message, I always send a video text message. Like
Interesting.
I record myself and send it because the text message feeling, I read this some time
Hmm.
ago. The way your text message is received is how the receiver is feeling emotionally at the time.
Absolutely.
It could not be it could not mean anything,
Hmm.
but the way you read it is your emotion.
Exactly.
That's it. Like you could feel confrontational that day and read sure as in,
Oh, you want to fight?
what do you mean sure? Like okay, you don't agree with that? What? You know, or and so if you put words and effect and voice into it,
Yeah.
then and it does that.
They can, yeah. You can convey your emotion and,
Yeah.
what you're
Like
thinking and everything.
because if I responded with sure, you know, sure.
Which is probably
Yeah.
how you meant it. But sometimes when people respond that way to me, I'm like, sure.
Well, also it might have been the fact that I felt that I needed to respond because I'm pretty sure I have read receipts on my text
Do you?
messages.
Yeah, I think you do.
I don't want you to feel like I read it and then didn't respond.
Yeah,
Now I will leave read receipts on for other things, so just to let them know I'm not responding.
that's hilarious. I was going to ask you why, but that totally makes sense. I've never had red receipts on because I don't want anybody to know ever.
It's the most passive aggressive thing I do.
Yeah, so as usual, we went down a bit of a tangent there, a fun one. But I was about to plug our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/8am coffee. I'll post it down here in the chat. Basically, as we have been saying, make sure that you and your family are all set and all good to go before donating anything to us. But you can give as little as $1 down there just to support what we're doing here, trying to entertain you and give you a little break from the news a couple days a week. By the way, this week we're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday to give ourselves a little bit of a break.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I think we're gradually working back to the one day a
one-
week. That's what's going on.
It's probably healthier once things get back to more normal. But yeah, I
This
get
is
excited.
phase one.
Do what?
This is phase one.
Exactly. Yeah. We're just gonna roll out our plan to you in phases.
There's no specific date. No.
Right.
We're just going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. But you can go to patreon.com/8am coffee. That's the number 8am coffee, and check out the different ways that you can donate, support us, and then 50% of everything we get is going to go to Second Harvest Food Bank because they're doing some cool things right now. I mean, they're always doing cool things, but they're able to feed people for very little dollar amount, which is awesome. Yeah. I guess that's about it for plugs. Oh, we were doing a giveaway recently too, and literally no one bit. No one did any of the challenge. So, do you?
I drank all the coffee.
Oh,
so
you did.
that's good.
Okay. Well,
No, I'm joking. I was going to drink all the coffee anyways. I was just going to buy more.
I was gonna say we can still give away a T-shirt or something, but if you're interested in that, we've got the rules posted up on the page, and I'll post them today as well. So, here we are, Monday morning. How
Monday morning.
yeah, I was just gonna get you to plug Lanai. if you want to, unless you don't want to.
Yeah, we can plug Lanai. Currently, it looks like we are booked up currently
That's
with
great.
all the neighborhoods that we want to do, except for there are a handful more that we're going to. We've already been reached out to by people, just because the anticipation of our permanent location reopening. So we are permanently located at Hay Bear Cafe.
Is that happening right
but
now?
They are kind of, I don't know. We're waiting on regulation. She's going to call me and talk to me about what's going on. And even if we go back there before the neighborhoods that we have booked are not, we'll still do everything we've committed to. That's basically what I'm saying. And I don't want to say yes to something before and then have to say no. I mean, because I mean, we do have a contract with them. I mean, it's a loose contract where she's going to be fine if I go and do things, but at the same time, like, we need to be honorable and things, which is ironic. Our contract ends like June 7th.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But we have the option of renewing, which we will do.
Yeah, for sure.
It's great. It's a 2-acre playground in the back, or a 2-acre lawn in the back with a commercial playground and separate area for food trucks. And there's a bubble tea place there. They sell some beer. They sell some beers.
Ooh.
They sell all like Japanese and Korean beer.
Ooh, that's
and then they
awesome.
also sell White Claw and the Corona. So
Oh, no. Hey Beer
White Claw.
Cafe. What's that?
They do sell some White Claw, though. I do love the White Claw.
I like.
I
the
don't
White
love
Claw.
the White Claw. I love the people that love the White Claw. I feel like it's the Zima of this generation.
Yes.
Is what I really feel.
It truly is. Yeah, that's awesome. What were we talking about? Oh, you mentioned Japanese and Korean beer, and I just wanted to plug the Knox on Tap podcast. It's Zach Roskop is doing it, of Knox Brew Tours. It's really cool. I have the pleasure of editing it each week, but he's going through like a different beer style, giving the state of local breweries and bars and how everyone's doing during the Corona and everything. And then they always have a cool interview with a local person, sometimes over beers. So,
That's one of the things I'm really looking forward to, because I know we joked about it, but I know Zach is 100% on board.
Yeah.
About doing an 8 p.m. beer,
right,
instead of an 8 a.m. coffee.
Yes.
And us legitimately just iPhoning it from
doing like a flight.
iPhoning the whole podcast from the beer tour.
Oh yeah.
And like I want to see what it takes to get some of our guests on and all that,
right?
And have them like just to like occupy the bus one day.
Yeah,
because it is pretty fun and it is pretty cool. It's and educational and everything. So
yeah, the educational part of it is really cool to me too. And it's interesting. Like I just wasn't sure what a brew bus would be, or a brew tour is like. Do they just take you to the different places and then you sample? But like it's so much more than that. Over the course of like 3 or 4 hours, you learn a lot. You drink a little. You party on the bus. Seems like a great time.
Yeah.
I still haven't done it. Sorry, Zach.
Yeah,
he's mad at me.
So many things you can do with a short bus.
That's true.
So many things.
So many.
Turn it into a tiny house.
Yeah.
You can make a bachelorette bus out of it. Like all kinds of things.
Would you ever, because this was such a big craze within the past few years, and maybe it still is, would you ever do tiny house if it was just the two of you, sans kids, in the future?
I want to say yes, but I also want to say no.
Okay.
I'm not really sure. Now, I mean, I don't think I'm the problem.
Okay.
And I don't mean this in a negative way. She just needs her space.
Yeah.
Like introvert. Like I could be around people all day, and it's okay.
Right.
she's like, "Hey, I need to be left alone."
Right.
And if you live in a tiny house, you
There is
can
no
be left
there is
alone.
no
There
left
is no
alone.
alone space. Yeah, and also because I lived in very small apartments in New York City,
Yeah.
like like I'm just used to like I can deal with everything being in one room
Yeah.
except the toilet. I never rented one of those apartments where there's open air toilet
Is that a
next to your
thing?
kitchen.
Is that
Oh
really a
yeah,
thing?
there's just a straight up commode in
Ugh.
the right next to the
That's
kitchen.
that's like a one person thing, right? One person apartment.
I'm assuming so. Yes.
We hope so.
It's not a two person for me. Not in this lifetime.
Man, that's what I
Um
was gonna say about tiny houses too. Like, even if that is the only separate room and everything else is in like the main area, the smell, man, there's gotta still be a smell. In a lot of those places, there's not like plumbing attached to the city or the county or anything, so they're just like
they have black water tanks,
dumping it.
like because there's fresh, gray, and black water. Those are three different tanks.
I don't like the sound of any of that, and I also don't know what it is.
So
Fearing
I
the
know
unknown.
it sounds really crazy, but we have a freshwater tank,
Okay.
right? And then we have a gray water tank. So gray water is non-bodily fluid. So like if we
Oh,
rinse
okay.
pasta off or like the soap that comes out of our drain in our triple sink,
Right.
right?
Right.
So freshwater is freshwater. It's just from the city water that we put into a tank that stays on the truck, and
Hmm.
then we have access to fresh water to wash our hands and wash dishes and mop and things like that,
Sure.
right? Now, I'm really weird that I will only use bottled water to cook rice and to like if I'm cooking, I only want it to be bottled water. Not that the fresh water is bad. I just don't want to use anything but the case of bottled
Do
water.
you notice any taste difference there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mo- and I think most people can on that. Now the water's safe and clean, and
Hmm.
there's no like reason to be concerned about it. Like we check the chemical balances of it and
Right.
all that. Um, but also it's a limited supply thing. Like we only have so much that we can carry. Now, what's funny is the gray water tank is bigger than the freshwater tank. So, because if anything that goes down the sink goes into the gray water,
Right.
right? So, and then you have to drain the gray water tank on occasion.
Okay. Okay.
So, well, not on occasion, like every day. But black water is anything that comes off your body in an RV or something like that. And I have had the pleasure of emptying a black water tank. And when I say the pleasure, it ain't a
You
pleasure
don't mean it.
because there's methane gases, there's all kinds because it's legitimately a sewer that you're driving around with under your RV.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, yeah.
And whenever anyone talks about anything like that, my mind goes to porta potties. And when my mind goes to porta potties, it makes me think of Bonnaroo, which we were talking about last week a little bit. And
Are you ever going back to Bonnaroo?
no,
It doesn't sound like it.
there's no way unless I'm in an RV, your RV, and I steal it and I have it all to myself.
We don't want to talk about my RV. So.
Well, by day 4 of Bonnaroo, the last day, some of the porta potties were like unusable, and that's all that I really want to say about that.
Because they were full.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Maybe overflowing.
Yes, I saw one. Like, I stood in line, and that's the thing too. Like, everybody was out. Dave Matthews Band is playing. It's 2010, and everybody needs to
Oh,
go to the bathroom. So we're standing in line like 6 people deep, and somebody comes out of this one, and I'm like, how did you use that? Like, what happened in there? It's like I want to know as much as I don't want to know. And I'm sorry that we're talking about poop at 8:48 in the morning. Let me read a comment from Kim Finch. Do you know Kim Finch?
no, Kim. Oh, Kim, yeah.
She said her son is wanting to start a food truck. What could she do to steer him in the right direction? Maybe give us like a top 3 or something. What are the top 3 things to know about starting a food truck?
Top three is to realize that it is not what they show on television. Like, that's the first thing. Like, once you get into the flow of it, it's just like any other entrepreneurial thing. It becomes shorter hours because you get more efficient.
Sure.
The work still is massive. Have a realistic expectation of finances. Be whatever you're ready to invest in, make sure that there is, and I'm going to go more than 3, by the way.
Okay, that's fine.
Make sure there's more to have in your savings as well, because you are going to be in the hole for the first couple of months.
Yeah.
And it's not because you won't be profitable, because you will be profitable, but there's going to be so many other things that you're unexpectedly coming up with. For us, festivals are not our thing, so we're not going to do them. Now, they can be extremely profitable. I mean, like, you have the potential, say, at Bonnaroo, to make $100,000
Sure.
in a weekend. It's going to cost you 40
Yeah.
to go, though.
And
I mean, like,
cost you mentally, right?
Up front,
Yeah.
not like on the side. If you're going to drive, realize that 15 hours a week is going to be dedicated to scheduling. Another 10 hours is going to be dedicated to driving. We're at 25 hours and you've never even served or cooked anything. And then on top of that, you're looking at another 15 to 20 hours a week of prep. And then you have about 10 to 15 hours of service. Okay. So really, service is not the majority of it, which is what people see.
Yeah.
Secondly, you better be efficient. You need to have a niche. Is it a niche or a niche? I never know that word.
I think people that say niche are pretentious and they need to quit.
Do they pronounce the L in salmon? But there's nothing wrong with competition, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's also understanding that, I read the comment, and he works in a kitchen, which is good, right? Minimize the menu. You can't have a restaurant menu off one of these things. You have to have. Now, our menu looks really big, but there's really only 4 proteins.
Right.
Like, that's all there is. And there's 5.
How many individual items do you have on the Lanai menu?
12.
Okay.
Outside of sides and desserts.
Right.
And spam. So here's the thing with it. Okay. So it's so fun and rewarding if that's what you're after. Now, the profitability factor in it is massive as well, if you know how to run a business. And that's the biggest thing, is if you know how to run a business. It's just like you talk about all these restaurants that go out of business, and you're like, man, they were so busy though. Well, they didn't manage back office, right? I was fortunate enough to be able to do it with cash, right? But I mean, when you see a food truck rolling down the road, if it's a truck, okay, you're $100,000 in.
Yeah.
Easy. And that's before any food or salary or staffs or anything. I will say this: people look at trailers and they're like, I can buy a brand new trailer for $25,000 and it's got everything in it, and that's great. And that's wonderful. And you can, and that's absolutely amazing. Do you have the truck that can pull it, though, is my question. Because if you don't have the truck that can pull it, it's going to cost you another $60 to get the vehicle to pull that trailer. And now you're looking at, and I will say something, there's something about the look of an actual food truck versus a trailer. Not knocking the trailer guys.
I'll knock the trailer. It's way cooler.
They're one. You see a truck pull up versus a trailer, like, yeah, that's a different. There's a difference there.
Yeah.
So it depends on, it depends on what they're wanting to do. Now, I mean, Knoxville, I'm not saying Knoxville getting oversaturated by any means. Obviously, there's clearly enough. I will have some food truck guys on here that will say, oh, Knoxville's oversaturated with trucks, you don't need to open one here. That's because they shy away from competition, just being honest with you. I say bring it on, because, yes, as many that open every year, they're the same amount that close every year.
Really?
So, oh, yeah.
It's like a 1-to-1 kind of thing the past few years?
It's more 2-to-1, like 2 are opening to 1 closing. Because it's not that hard of a business to keep operating as well. Like, once it's paid off, like, you're just buying food at
Right.
that point.
And that's how I feel here running a studio, because thankfully I had all this equipment as I was
Yeah.
quitting an old job, so it was just
Yeah.
straight profit from
It's
there.
it's just being able to staff and understand. I mean, it's so complicated and complex that it's not a one answer question.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
for sure.
the other thing is
Somebody's having a
also
wild
if you
time
feel
over
like
there.
I'm full of it, go do your own thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that is oh cool. I got a kid working with me tonight that wants to be a chef. So I'm letting him stage. I don't know if you know what that
I
is.
do not.
Now he said he'd work for free. I don't let anybody work for free. I don't believe in that. So
Feel
but
like auditing.
I guess that might be what you call it.
Okay.
Right? We call it staging, where you just kind of come and hang out and then like jump in where you can
Oh, gotcha.
and kind of thing.
That's cool.
But I just got his parental permission slip for him to use his knives.
Oh,
So,
nice.
well, you have to. It's one of those things. I just want to make sure it's cool,
Right.
and also insurance. But yeah, which makes me feel kind of good today.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh, I want to work with you. I'm like, yeah, cool.
Famous chef over here.
Not famous,
You know?
infamous. No, but I mean, like, it's a lot of work. Like, don't negate the planning process. It's not just buying something and opening it. Like, we planned for a year
Cool.
before we
Yeah.
ever opened the doors. And, like, you've got to be able to say, I'm not going to make any money. Like, it's just like any business. Like, you have to be able. Now, it could start off as a side gig and then eventually grow into your actual career, because it's hard. It's not possible for the majority of people to be like, I can handle not making money for the first 6 months.
Yeah.
It's not a possibility. Now, you'll be faster into profitability and faster in it to being your full-time gig if you can say, hey, look, this is all I'm going to do. I realize I don't have any money for the next 6 months. I have to live on what I have.
Yeah.
And just do it. However, like, I mean, you've like scheduling. I just keep going back to scheduling. That's why I'm so glad we're permanent. Like scheduling is
Because you're
such a
talking
beast.
scheduling, like being at someone else's property or wherever, or
Yeah.
venue or something outside.
Yeah. And then you deal with miscommunication if two people are doing the schedule, mainly me. Because I just say yes to everything.
Oh, gotcha.
Like,
Gotcha.
I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. But it's and then you have to worry about reputation, and because there are trucks that have reputations that will no show. There are trucks that have reputations that will always show.
Right.
There are trucks that have reputations of they always run out of food, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. I need that to be understood, because you can only carry a certain amount of food on board. So it's nice to have that rep that we run out of food because people show early. So they come and get their food early, and then we're done early.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then there's a math factor on how many people can produce what at what rate per hour. I mean, so it is so the good thing and the bad thing about food truck operation, it is the lowest cost to start a restaurant. So that's a really good thing because it's the lowest cost and anyone can get into it. The bad thing is anyone can get into it. So you've gone from never operating anything before and going, hey, I got my grandma's biscuit recipe, right? Or my grandmother's fried chicken recipe, or whatever you want to say. And you're like, I'm going to open a biscuit and chicken food truck. And that sounds amazing, right?
As long as they're
All
good.
we're going to do is biscuits with honey, like local honey biscuits and fried chicken, and we're going to have a different green every day. And that's all we're going to do, right? Cool. well, how much are you going to get your chicken for? What's your P&L? Like, I mean, there's like, then you start talking about things that people don't know what then they're like, I didn't know all this was in it. Like, let's talk about taxes and
Right.
revenue. And like, I mean, like, there's just so much that if you have the experience, the business end of it is huge. Now,
Yeah,
and
it's a lot to
I
keep
will
track
say
of,
this,
though, for sure.
and talking about Vaynerchuk, we've gone through up until this point, from about '08 to right now, we've gone through this period where entrepreneurship is easy because finances are easy and people are just spending money and all that. I don't think this is going to wreck our economy by any means, but this is definitely going to be like, ooh, I don't need to spend that. I need to save that.
Yeah. Man, I feel that
And
right
people are going
now.
to be very, very careful where they spend their money.
Right, right.
And if your rep's not good, or it's not it.
Yeah.
Now, Knoxville is highest restaurant per capita U.S. non-tourist town.
Is that still
So-
true? I remember that being a statistic when I was in like high school.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
So it's number 12, I think. I'd have to look at the last year's, but last
Sure.
year it was number 12. So,
Yeah. Well, dang, Kim.
Martha's Vineyard.
You got some
number
bang
one,
for your
baby.
buck on that question.
Martha's Vineyard, number 1. One restaurant for 88.1 residents.
That's a lot. Good Lord.
Well, that's because there's not many residents on Martha's
Oh,
Vineyard.
that's not even fair. I don't know where that
Kids
is.
learning how to talk, by the way.
It
I don't know
just,
if you hear that.
I do hear it. Oh, I hear it. It just makes me think of Martha Stewart when you say that, and then that leads me to Snoop Dogg. And on that Bon Appetit YouTube channel, they were recreating Snoop Dogg's like lobster recipe, which was hilarious. I mean, it was really good too. Like, it wasn't just
He was good
yeah,
on that. Like, yeah. I love the memes of where they like show them together, but only one of them's been to federal prison.
that's so true. Gosh, that's amazing. Oh man, she's really funny on roasts, by the way.
Hey, I have a random question
Yeah, go for
you.
it. Go for it.
Just because it happened to me the other day.
Uh huh.
Do you notice the clothes that your wife wears? Like, do you notice it? Is she a shopper at all? Like, does she buy things and
Yeah, she buys
like
things.
you don't know about it? Like, it just
Oh,
it
no.
just purchases happen. Oh, okay.
That's not possible because I'm the one who does the budget.
Oh, I'm the one that walks by the couch and goes, "Do we have money?"
Yeah,
And
that's
the
Lindsay.
response is, "Don't spend what you're not supposed to." That's all I get.
Yep, that's me. I am Ashley
There-
in this situation.
There is a one specific sweater that Ashley has worn maybe 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
Maybe more. I don't know. But she wore it the other day, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cute." Like I'm like, "Oh, like that came in the mail, like from Amazon. That's really cute." Yeah, like blah blah blah. And she was like, "Yeah, like 6 months ago, Paul." And I've worn it like 5 other times. And I'm like, "Oh, really? Oh, my bad."
So you're talking that kind of context.
Yes.
In that case, yes, because she went to Target maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and I was like, "Oh, that's that new shirt you got." So, again, like kind of controlling where the money's flowing and like what areas of the budget and everything. Like I kind of keep track of everything that goes on there.
So you all
So
have a monthly meeting?
nope.
We do. We have a monthly meeting. A monthly sit down. This is where it's going.
Okay.
This is how much we're spending. What do you think? And we move money around and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we move the budget around and do a $0 like X amount into savings and what we're giving and then where it's going, how much we're spending on fuel versus
Right.
grocery versus going out. And like we've gotten to the end of the month and it's been like there's no coffee money.
Right.
Like,
right.
You're making coffee at home. We're not getting it out. Like, I mean, we're so strict.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
we don't.
That's how I am. And when it comes to like Lindsay, she'll ask about it and I'll be like, we have this much, but it's never like a sit down thing. It's more like in passing, I'll be like, hey, don't eat out this week or, don't eat out
No, we
until
actually-
May,
Yeah, we actually sit and talk about it
That's
before the month happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
before the month even ever happens. And then so I'm notorious for not spending my spending money. I just don't buy
Does it
things,
roll over?
right? Well, it
Or you
it
you like
has and it hasn't.
repurpose it or something?
It has and it hasn't. Um, I like to watch the savings account go up.
Mm-hmm.
I like to know that there's some security there.
Yeah, for sure.
So there have been months where, first of all, that's the first thing to go. Like if we're like, hey, we're going to tighten down,
Yeah,
that's the first thing to go. And then sometimes we have this fun thing where we're like, all right, let's see if we can only spend 400 a month in groceries.
that's cool.
Like,
Yeah,
and let's see what we can work out
like
of
a
the pantry.
challenge.
Yeah, kind of
I
thing.
love that.
Because our grocery budget isn't as high as people would think it is.
Really?
It's not that. No, and we don't eat out a lot. Like we just don't. I probably spend in 2 days for the food truck what we spend the entire month. And
Dang.
like, yeah, I went to Sam's the other day and only spent like $65. And they were like, "What's wrong with you?" Like they were like looking at me like, "What? Where's all your other stuff at?"
Is that when you
So
got the pallets full of spam?
no, I spent $480 on spam that day.
Oh, Jordan Carr. Sorry, I did hear you, but Jordan Carr, my brother-in-law, I guess, who we talked about last week, he said Excel sheets are perfect. Do you budget for the food truck? I'm assuming you budget for the food truck, right? There's some kind of like
Yeah,
flow.
but it's a different thing on a percentage basis
Yeah,
though.
yeah, that
So
makes sense.
so like, uh, is he annoying?
I mean, I can hear him.
Um, he
You're asking me who
sorry,
loves
he's
children if the sound of a child is annoying. What do you want me to say, Paul? I'm just kidding. It's fun.
I don't know. He annoys me sometimes. What do you want me to say?
With I was talking with Jordan about this. I guess it was last year sometime. He and his wife were asking me about like how I budget, and I was like, "You're not gonna like this, and most people don't like this, and it's hard to follow." But like, if we need, let's say, $1,200 in a month for bills and mortgage and all that kind of stuff, right? I'll say we're gonna put 1,300 toward that. So there's like margin within every area of the budget. Otherwise, I get stressed out. So,
So we use a program called Every Dollar,
mm-hmm, that's a good one.
and there it balances. Like this is where it's going,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Right.
I mean, even down to like toiletries
Can't
and
do
like
that though.
household items.
That stresses me
Like
out. It's a good method. I know that it is. It's just like it doesn't
it
fit for my
works.
brain, you know?
It works. I'm telling you, it
The
works.
thing is,
Like
mine works better because there's always margin. I'm being an a-hole now.
and I guess Ashley's going to regulate.
Uh-oh. Like Warren G? Like Nate Dogg?
Who's kicking the wall? Dude, our house is a madhouse this morning. Dude, they wake up like sprinting, like ready to go.
Why? What are they going to do?
I don't know. I don't know. They're just kids. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with them.
Play with Lincoln Logs?
They have Lincoln Logs actually,
Nice. Nice.
except they can't have them around the baby because he'll try to eat them.
That makes sense. It's probably a good chewing toy.
No, not at all. No, I mean, like with the food truck, it is budgeted X percentage,
Right.
not X amount, because we don't know how much is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So that you have to vary that, right? Now, what we do actually have in there, which I hate to say this, but most businesses don't, is we have business savings as well.
Smart.
So, well, it's how we pay our staff. I mean, like all these businesses that are getting bailed out that should have had a savings account blows me away.
Uh-huh.
Blows me away. I mean, completely blows me away.
Wait, does it blow you away?
Blows me away.
Crazy.
But the problem is that we're talking about the people that needed to be bailed out more than we are talking about the people that actually took care of their people and
That's
You
not a
know,
fun news story.
well, like I mean, like Apple or don't like Apple, they're paying everybody right now,
Yeah. Being smart about it.
and they've been closed for like almost 2 months. They closed before anybody
Yeah.
because when they closed their office, they closed all retail.
Right. Right.
They're like, you're all closed, and they're all getting paid full time, like normal pay, normal salary, normal
Benefits and everything. Yeah.
benefits, all that. But there is no. Here, I got that, buddy. I got that. There is no, whatever. Hey, I know we're being time conscious.
Sorry, I dropped the thing I was playing with. It's a guitar pick, by the way.
Because I do have a very full day today.
Ooh. Ooh. I'm glad. I'm very glad for you, by the way.
But we've got, I've got a kid coming on to work, and which means I have to do everything correctly now instead of taking every shortcut I know.
Gotcha.
So
that doesn't mean safety or health wise.
No. That means like actually having the food before I need it,
right,
instead of getting it on the way. That's what I mean.
I just know somebody's brain is going to go there. So
no, health and safety is always number one. Like, I mean, we got 2 points knocked off because our health inspector didn't like the way we organized things, and our water was too hot. Yeah. There you go.
More sanitary, less corona,
I asked him where that was on the page, and he said, I don't exactly know. I'm just giving you the points off.
What? That's not even.
And I started to argue, and I got a Paul, shut your mouth. Hey, listen, it's not as bad as getting the 99 because I picked a box up, set it down, and then picked it back up. And like pick like that to make a plate. And she was like, you picked up a box that was open to the air.
Like you were supposed to wash your hands in between or something?
No, like it was supposed to be open side down. So it was open side down. Like the bottom of the box is on the top. I picked it up, but I grabbed 2 of them instead of 1. And then one back, but didn't put it down facing down. You get what I'm saying? Like the opening face. And then picked it back up and made something. She went, there's my point. She was on our truck from 11:15 to 1:30 in the middle of a lunch rush. And we got 1 point knocked off because of a box.
That's not bad, though.
Because of a box. Listen, anybody who's working in the restaurant world, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, and we were busy. Like it wasn't like a smooth sailing shift. We were like slammed, and I was like, oh.
Dang.
Anyways,
that's cool though. I like that. I mean,
no, she was cool. Our new health inspector, not so much. I don't care if you're listening. So
put you on blast, health inspector. Cool.
Hey, listen, I had one inspector that I called him by his name, and he told me if I called him that again in the middle of our 4th of July thing downtown, he'd step on and give me inspection right there. And I was like, nah, we're good. So I think it says a lot that the health inspectors actually eat off our truck as well. So sorry. I needed to say all those things because I also know that somebody's like, oh, he's taking shortcuts.
Right.
That's not what it is. Right.
No shortcuts for safety and health. All right, cool. Well, we'll wrap things up there, and we will be back on Wednesday. And I think, say what? Is that
Wednesday?
Sign for Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think what we'll do is
just send you those videos.
Oh yeah. We'll decide on a topic and post about it, and then we can have some people chatting with us and stuff. Unless we find a coffee guest, All right, cool. Well, we'll see you all then. I'm gonna do the applause sound effect. Man, this is taking way too long, and it's not worth it. But
goodbye.